Internal anger at the FBI over Hillary Clinton's investigation continues to grow. This is a story that refuses to go away. Recall the post from earlier this month. Backlash grows months after the FBI's sham investigation to Hillary Clinton, in which we learned, feeling the heat from congressional critics, FBI Director James Comey last week argued that the case was investigated by career FBI agents. Quote, so if I blew it, they blew it too, unquote. But agents say Comey tied investigations' hands by agreeing to unheard of ground rules and other demands by the lawyers for Hillary Clinton and her aides that limited their investigation. Quote, in my 25 years with the Bureau, I never had any ground rules in my interviews, unquote, said retired Agent Dennis V. Hughes, the first chief of the FBI's Computer Investigations Unit. Instead of going to prosecutors and insisting on using grand jury leverage to compel testimony and seize evidence, James Comey allowed immunity for several key witnesses, including potential targets. What's more, Comey cut a deal to give Clinton a voluntary interview on a major holiday, the 4th of July, and even let her ex-chief of staff sit in on the interview as a lawyer, even though she too was under investigation. Unheard of stuff. Agreed. Retired FBI agent Michael M. Basiello says Comey has single-handedly ruined the reputation of the organization. Comey made the 25 agents who worked on the case sign non-disclosure agreements, but others say morale has sunk inside the FBI. Quote, the director is giving the Bureau a bad rap with all these gaps in the investigation, end quote, one agent in the Washington field office said, adding, there is a perception that the FBI has been politicized and let down the country. While the above article focuses on the opinions of retired agents, today's article zeroes in on the growing frustrations of current agency employees. The Daily Caller reports, FBI agents say the Bureau is alarmed over Director James Comey's deciding not to suggest that the Justice Department prosecute Hillary Clinton over her mishandling of classified information. According to an interview transcript given to the Daily Caller, provided by an intermediary who spoke to two federal agents for the Bureau last Friday, agents are frustrated by Comey's leadership. Quote, this is a textbook case where a grand jury should have convened but was not. That is appalling, end quote. An FBI special agent who has worked public corruption and criminal cases said of this decision, adding, we talk about it in the office and we don't know how James Comey can keep going, end quote. Another special agent for the Bureau that worked counterterrorism and criminal cases said he is offended by Comey saying we and I've been an investigator. After graduating from law school, Comey became a law clerk to a U.S. District Judge Manhattan and later became an associate in a law firm in the city. After becoming U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York, Comey's career moved through the U.S. Attorney's Office until he became Deputy Attorney General during George W. Bush administration. After Bush left office, Comey entered the private sector and became General Counsel to the Senior Vice President for Lockheed Martin, among other private sector posts. President Barack Obama appointed him to FBI Director 2013, replacing outgoing Director Robert Mueller. Quote, the second agent said, quote, Comey was never an investigator or special agent. The special agents are trained investigators and they are insulted that Comey included them in collective we statements in his testimony to imply that the special agents agreed that there was nothing there to prosecute. All the trained investigators agree that there is a lot to be prosecuted, but he stood in the way, end quote. Indeed, there were many red flags surrounding Comey from the beginning, so much so that I wrote an article in 2013 titled, So Who is James Comey, Obama's nominee to head the FBI? In light of the latest revelations that the NSA is spying on the communications of millions of Verizon customers courtesy of information provided by the FBI, it probably makes sense to know a little more about Obama's nominee to head that bureau. That man is James Comey, and he was a top Department of Justice attorney under John Ashcroft during the George W. Bush administration. Since then, he has worked at Lockheed Martin and at the enormous Connecticut hedge fund Bridgewater Associates. This guy defines the revolution of door cancer ruining these United States. Now back to the Daily Caller. According to Washington, D.C. Attorney Joe DiGenova, the FBI agents will be talking about the problems at Bureau and specifically the handling of the Hillary Clinton case by James Comey when Congress comes back into session and decides to force them to testify by subpoena. DiGenova told WMAL Radio Drive at 5 last week, people are starting to talk. They're calling their former friends outside the Bureau asking for help. We were asked today to provide legal representation to people inside the Bureau and agreed to do so, and to former agents who want to come forward and talk. Comey thought this was going to go away. Of course it's not. He explained, it's not. People inside the Bureau are furious, they're embarrassed, they feel like they are being led by a hack, but more than that, that they think he's a crook. They think he's fundamentally dishonest. They have no confidence in him. The Bureau inside right now is a mess. And he added, the most important thing of all is that agents have decided that they are going to talk. Corruption in the USA has now reached a level where it starts destroying the entire fabric of our society itself. This is a very dangerous moment. This is by In Liberty, Michael Krieger, Liberty Blitzkrieg, and it's on State of the Nation. I'll leave a link below for you for this.